What is purpose? What is purpose? As you know, I work in strategy and we use words like purpose. And in fact, my last video was one about a vision. We use words like vision, but this week it's about purpose. And I've done a number of videos on purpose, but this time it's about definition. And why definition? Because when I work with other people on strategy, I'm very careful to know what the definition is of the words that I'm using, because it's easy to give them different applications, and purpose is a case in point. So if you go to the dictionary and you look it up, what it'll tell you is many things. Actually, it'll tell you many things. And the one that I kind of settled on for a business strategy context is the reason for which something is done or made, the reason for which something is done or made, or for which it exists. The reason, so why does it exist? I think if we were discussing purpose, I'd want to know that we were agreed we were looking at the reason for why, for which, why does the business exist? What's the reason? Now this is important because it also says in the dictionary, if you look up purpose, that you could be talking about intention, or you could be talking about an object to be attained. Now I find both of these, particularly the last one, an object to be attained, confusing and misleading, because if you get into another section of the strategy, you're going to be looking at specific objectives to be attained, and that's not a purpose. Some people call that a mission. So you can see how easy it is to use these words interchangeably. Now, why have I settled on the words that I've settled on, or the definitions that I've settled on, is because we've mapped over the words to the human nervous system. We want all of the human nervous system involved in the formulation of a strategy. It's a prerequisite for genius, according to Dr. John Grinder and Judith Delosier. So you really want to agree what the word definitions are before you start a conversation with somebody else. I've also found that the reasons of reason benefit if they give way to the reasons of the heart. The reasons of reason benefit if they give way to the reasons of the heart. And why is this? A purpose normally comes, the shadow side of a purpose is a predicament. An example would be, why are we making electric cars at the moment? What is the predicament we as a society face? Why are we invested in vaccines at the moment? What is the predicament that we as a society face? You know, why did you choose the career that you chose? What was the predicament when you looked over time that you faced? And a predicament will take you into your feelings, and going into your feelings will provide you something that will sustain you over years and heal the mind, the so-called mind-body split that we have in Western society, and we have it particularly in business, where there is a tendency to favor reason and intellectual argument. That is the head, over feeling and predicament, that is the heart. So if you get something that is a predicament, then your body's going to be involved. Okay, I think that is probably it. I'm going to point you to some resources now. We go into the use of language and nominalizations like purpose extensively on a different channel, ZPS8 YouTube channel, ZPS8 YouTube channel, and we look at the use of language both from a macro and a micro perspective. from a vague and a specific perspective. And you will, if you're interested in this, you'll find it very useful, because the structure of good communication includes vague nominalizations like "I have a dream" and specific objectives like "we don't want to see any discrimination when we get on a bus." And then it goes even further into story, but that's for another video. Another resource is the Business Strategy in Lockdown, which goes through this strategy model in more detail in terms of language movements. And a final resource is a download, which you can, there's a link in below, which will give you 5 components of good strategy. It's called diamond mining. And we have organized that model. It's very simple. It's just an introduction. It's just to give you the 5 components that need to be there for a good strategy, including the strategy itself. And it maps the human nervous system, which is a prerequisite for personal genius. Okay, so this has been about what is purpose. Please remember to subscribe. Thank you.